Hey, curious Gemini, take a moment and pay attention to the thoughts, feelings, and subtle changes moving through your life as August 28th, 2026 comes into focus. Something may be asking you to slow down and understand what has been happening beneath the surface. You may feel a stronger need for clarity, a sudden desire to change your plans, or an awareness that certain situations no longer feel as simple as they once did. You might notice yourself thinking more deeply about a decision you have postponed, a conversation you have avoided, or a direction you have been considering for some time. Your mind is naturally active, Gemini, and when several possibilities appear at once, it can be tempting to follow all of them. But today asks you to distinguish between what truly deserves your attention and what is simply creating noise. Before you make an important move, give yourself enough time to understand your own motivation. Are you moving because something genuinely inspires you, or because you are tired of waiting? There is a difference between following an opportunity and escaping discomfort. Your intelligence becomes even more powerful when it is combined with patience and clear intention. Think of your thoughts like a sky filled with moving clouds. Not every cloud needs to be followed. Some thoughts can simply pass while you remain focused on what matters most. August 28th can therefore become a symbolic moment of recognition for you, especially when you notice a particular idea returning again and again. Perhaps there is something you already know deep down but have been hesitant to admit. Maybe a situation has been giving you mixed signals, or perhaps your own feelings have been changing faster than you expected. Instead of forcing yourself to reach an immediate conclusion, allow the truth to become clearer through observation. Astrology and tarot cannot determine your choices for you. They can only provide symbolic perspectives that encourage reflection. If something in this message does not match your experience, there is no need to force it. But if certain words immediately remind you of something happening in your life, pause there and consider why that message caught your attention. Gemini, one of your greatest strengths is your ability to adapt. You can learn quickly, communicate naturally, and see different sides of a situation. Yet the same flexibility that helps you adapt can sometimes make it difficult to decide when you have seen enough and need to choose a direction. You may have become accustomed to keeping several possibilities open at the same time. This can feel safe because you do not have to commit too quickly. But there comes a point when too many open doors can prevent you from walking through the one that actually matters. Your energy on August 28th is asking for greater selectivity. You do not need to respond to every message immediately. You do not need to explain every decision to everyone around you. And you do not have to remain available to every person simply because you are capable of helping them. Sometimes protecting your peace means creating a little distance from unnecessary demands. You may also realize that you have been carrying conversations, responsibilities, or expectations that were never completely yours. Because you understand people easily, others may naturally come to you when they need advice, support, or reassurance. Helping people is valuable, but constantly absorbing their problems can gradually leave less space for your own priorities. There is a difference between caring and carrying everything. Your mind needs moments when it does not have to solve anything. If you have recently felt mentally scattered, restless, or overwhelmed by information, consider giving yourself some quiet time. Reading, walking, spending time in nature, listening to peaceful music, or simply stepping away from constant notifications can help you reconnect with your own thoughts. Rest is not wasted time, Gemini. Sometimes silence is where clarity finally appears. You may also become more aware of how your daily habits affect your energy. When your mind is moving quickly, it can be easy to overlook the basic needs of your body. Pay attention to your sleep, your energy levels, your routine, and the way stress affects your mood. You do not need to criticize yourself for having difficult days. Instead, use awareness as information. If something repeatedly leaves you exhausted, ask whether your current routine is actually supporting the life you are trying to create. This becomes especially important in your work and career. Gemini, your ability to communicate and learn can open many doors. You may be considering a new project, a different position, a business idea, or a completely different professional direction. There could be something developing that initially looks small but has greater potential than you realize. However, do not assume that every exciting possibility is automatically the right one. Look at what is realistic. Consider the time, effort, skills, and patience required. A new beginning can be promising, but it still needs structure if you want it to become something lasting. If you have recently started something and lost some of your initial enthusiasm, do not immediately assume that you made the wrong choice. Sometimes the beginning feels exciting because everything is new, while the middle requires patience and consistency. Ask yourself whether the goal still matters to you. If it does, perhaps the answer is not to abandon it but to change your approach. If it no longer reflects what you want, then releasing it may also be a valid form of progress. You do not have to finish every path simply because you once began walking down it. The same principle applies to money. You may be thinking more seriously about financial stability, future plans, savings, or a practical opportunity. August 28th encourages you to think beyond immediate excitement. A possibility may appear attractive, but before committing yourself, ask what it can realistically provide and what it will require from you. Do not confuse movement with progress. Sometimes progress looks like making a careful decision instead of taking the fastest opportunity available. Your financial future is shaped by repeated choices, not only by one dramatic moment. Small decisions, consistent habits, learning, and patience can gradually create stronger foundations. When it comes to relationships, Gemini, the energy becomes more personal. You may find yourself reconsidering what genuine emotional connection means to you. Perhaps you have previously been attracted to relationships that were exciting, unpredictable, or mentally stimulating. But now you may be becoming more interested in something that also feels emotionally steady. If you are already in a relationship, communication becomes especially important. You may know how to explain your thoughts, but today asks whether you are also allowing yourself to listen. Sometimes two people can talk for hours without truly understanding each other because both are preparing their next response instead of hearing what is being said. Give the other person room to express themselves. You do not have to solve every disagreement immediately. You do not have to prove that your perspective is correct. Sometimes understanding becomes possible only after both people feel safe enough to speak honestly. If you are single, someone may capture your attention unexpectedly. There could be a conversation that stays in your mind longer than expected, or someone may reveal an interesting side of themselves that changes the way you see them. But allow the connection to develop naturally. You do not need to decide immediately whether someone is your future. First, notice how you feel around them. Can you be yourself? Can you communicate openly? Do you feel respected? Does the connection give you room to remain independent while still allowing emotional closeness? Chemistry can create curiosity, but genuine understanding takes time. You may also discover that your standards have changed. What once seemed exciting may no longer be enough. You may want someone who communicates clearly, respects your individuality, and genuinely wants to understand you rather than simply being fascinated by your personality. This is an important emotional shift. In family matters, communication also becomes central. A misunderstanding may begin to soften when someone finally says what they truly mean. You do not need everyone to agree with you. Sometimes peace begins simply when people stop assuming what the other person thinks. If there has been distance between you and someone close, a simple conversation may create more progress than a long argument ever could. But remember your boundaries. Supporting family does not mean becoming responsible for every emotion, disagreement, or problem around you. You can love people without trying to control their choices. Gemini, your ability to communicate can be one of your greatest gifts, but communication is most powerful when it comes with emotional awareness. Now let's move deeper into the symbolic energy surrounding you. The first card appearing for you is the Ace of Swords. For Gemini, this card represents clarity, truth, mental breakthroughs, and the willingness to finally see something as it really is. It does not necessarily mean that every answer will appear instantly. Instead, it suggests that confusion can begin to separate from reality. Something may suddenly make sense. A conversation may reveal information you were missing. A decision may become easier because you finally understand what is truly important. Or you may simply realize that you have been asking the wrong question. The Ace of Swords reminds you that clarity can be more valuable than excitement. The next card is the Two of Pentacles, bringing attention to balance. You may currently be managing several responsibilities at once. Work, relationships, personal goals, family expectations, and financial concerns may all compete for your attention. Your ability to multitask is impressive, but there is a limit to how many things can receive your best energy simultaneously. The message here is not to abandon your responsibilities. It is to organize them. Decide what needs your attention first. What can wait? What can be simplified? What can be delegated? What are you continuing only because you are afraid to let it go? You may discover that some of the pressure you feel is coming from trying to maintain too many possibilities at once. Then comes the Star, bringing a softer and more hopeful energy. If you have recently experienced disappointment, uncertainty, or emotional exhaustion, this card suggests a gradual return of confidence. You may not have everything figured out, but you can begin believing that your future is not limited by what happened before. The Star encourages renewal. You do not have to become the person you were before a difficult experience. You can become someone wiser because of it. Perhaps something you once considered a failure actually taught you what you value. Perhaps a disappointing relationship showed you what you will no longer accept. Perhaps a professional setback taught you skills that are now becoming useful. Your past does not have to control your future. Then we see the Fool. For Gemini, this card carries an important message about beginning again. There may be an unfamiliar direction calling your attention. A new project, a different environment, a creative idea, a new relationship, or simply a new way of approaching your life. But the Fool does not mean acting without thought. It represents openness to possibility. You do not need to know every detail before taking a first step, but you should understand why you are taking it. There is a difference between curiosity and impulsiveness. Let yourself explore, but keep your awareness with you. And when the reading turns toward relationships, the Two of Cups appears. This card speaks of mutual understanding, emotional balance, respect, and genuine connection. It suggests that relationships become stronger when both people are willing to meet each other halfway. For you, Gemini, this can be a reminder that communication is not only about having the right words. It is also about being emotionally present. If you are in a relationship, this may be a good time to create more space for honest conversations. If you are single, you may become more attracted to someone who offers emotional balance rather than constant uncertainty. You may be learning that peace does not have to mean boredom. A healthy connection can still be interesting, intelligent, and exciting while also providing stability. Your health and well-being deserve attention too. Your mind may sometimes move faster than your body can comfortably follow. When your thoughts are constantly active, you may fail to notice how much energy you are using. Give yourself opportunities to slow down. A consistent routine, enough rest, gentle movement, time away from screens, and moments of quiet can help you reconnect with yourself. If something about your health concerns you, speak with a qualified healthcare professional rather than relying on astrology or tarot for medical decisions. Your body deserves real attention, not assumptions. In your career, the Ace of Swords suggests that a decision or realization may help you move forward. You may finally understand what direction you want to take or recognize which professional situation no longer fits. The Two of Pentacles asks you to manage your workload carefully. The Star reminds you not to lose faith in your abilities simply because progress has taken longer than expected. And the Fool encourages you to remain open to a different route. Perhaps your next opportunity will not look exactly like what you expected. That does not mean it is wrong. Sometimes the path becomes visible only after you begin moving. Financially, the message is similar. Avoid making decisions simply because you are emotionally excited. Think carefully. Learn what you need to learn. Consider the consequences. If an opportunity seems promising, give yourself time to understand it before committing. Your future does not depend on one single opportunity. There will be other possibilities. The strongest financial position comes from combining curiosity with responsibility. In family relationships, the Two of Cups suggests the possibility of greater understanding. A conversation may help repair something that has been misunderstood. But the Ace of Swords reminds you to be honest. Say what you mean without deliberately hurting someone. Listen without immediately becoming defensive. The most powerful conversations are not necessarily the loudest ones. Sometimes one calm sentence can change the direction of an entire relationship. Gemini, August 28th ultimately brings you back to one central question. What deserves your attention now? Not everything deserves your energy. Not every message needs an immediate response. Not every opportunity requires a yes. Not every disagreement needs to become a battle. And not every thought deserves to become a decision. Your greatest strength today is not simply your intelligence. It is your ability to choose where that intelligence goes. You are entering a period where clarity can become more valuable than speed. Let yourself observe. Let yourself question. Let yourself change your mind when new information appears. And most importantly, let yourself choose a direction without feeling guilty about the possibilities you leave behind. Your life does not need to contain every opportunity. It needs to contain the opportunities that genuinely matter to you. So as August 28th unfolds, Gemini, pay attention to the conversations that stay with you, the ideas that keep returning, and the moments when you suddenly feel certain about something that once confused you. There may be no dramatic announcement. There may simply be a quiet realization, and sometimes that is enough to change everything that comes next. Your message is simple. Think clearly, choose carefully, communicate honestly, and do not be afraid to begin again. Let your curiosity open the door, but let wisdom decide which door you walk through.